So I became extremely annoyed with Fridays, and I just decided I was not going to refill my prescription. I was just going to have to find, I was just going to have to go with another telehealth company.
Up until this point, I had been aware of OrderlyMeds and Mochi Health. Now, I decided to go with OrderlyMeds, even though it was more expensive. They seemed like they were going to be pretty reliable based on another YouTuber that I watch. She rants and raves about their customer service and their attention to detail and how easy they are to communicate with. She's lost a significant amount of weight, using their compounds. So I was like, hey, what the heck? Also, she had mentioned that we could purchase multi-month orders of compound Tirzepatide from OrderlyMeds. So let's get into OrderlyMeds. They're a bit more expensive than Fridays. At the filming of this video, they're about $400 per vial of Tirzepatide, I think up until the 10 milligram, and then beyond it's an additional $50 per vial. But the reason I decided to go with Orderly is because their compound Tirzepatide is not mixed with anything. At the time, I did not know which pharmacy my compound would be coming from. It's not funny, but I didn't know which compound my pharmacy was going to be coming from. I was just happy that it wasn't going to be mixed with anything. I'm going to go ahead and say that it doesn't take long to get into the downside of dealing with OrderlyMeds. So first of all, their website is absolute and utter garbage. I talked about Fridays before. Fridays has a beautiful, easy to use, very nice website. Orderly has one of those websites that makes you feel like you're ordering from a multi-level marketing scheme. I'm not saying that their company is a scam. Clearly, I've been able to get my product and use it, and for the most part, it's fine. And also their customer service is very responsive. But their website is absolute trash. I hate it. I don't like it. But I did not have to meet with a provider, but I went through the intake and it was fairly simple to order my first vial of Tirzepatide, aside from the janky website. But there was some other janky details or steps that had to be taken, like, hey, wait for a text from this team from this number, and when they text you, make sure you respond with this message, because if you don't respond with this message, then they're not going to be able to fill your prescription. But you're getting texts from 2 different teams. The process with Orderly could be a lot more streamlined. I just think that they have the company that runs the telehealth part, and then they have, I guess, the portion that is the providers and the doctors or whatever, maybe is separate. I don't really know how to explain it, but it gives janky and I don't like it. Another thing I did not like about Orderly is that when your prescription is getting ready to ship, I don't even need to go into the details of going through the process of ordering, because it's fairly simple. You go to the website, you do your new patient form intake, you pay, and then they send off your prescription. You get the text saying that your prescription is, I guess, ready or about to ship. We just need confirmation. I also had to send pictures of my ID and stuff the first time around, but didn't have to meet with anybody. When the compound is getting ready to ship, they tell you, we don't always get tracking information, so make sure you download the FedEx and the UPS apps and sign up for accounts, because a lot of the time you'll know when your package is on the way before we do. What? I didn't like that. When I was with Fridays, I would get tracking information, so I would know when my package was delivered. Now, when I went through the whole FedEx and UPS process, I was having trouble, I think with one of them, trying to create an account, because I had an old account from years ago, something like that. Moral of the story is I didn't get any tracking information for my package. So I had to remind myself on my calendar, hey, in a couple of days, check to see if you have a package, or if you haven't received your compound by this date, something must be wrong, janky process. I wasn't feeling that. Now, I will say that it took a bit longer to get my compound from Red Rock than it did Hollandale. It could just be because Hollandale's closer to me. I'm on the East Coast. Hollandale's on the East Coast. I think Red Rock is in like Utah or something like that. So it could be that, but it was taking a little while. From the time it took for me to order my compound through Orderly Meds to the time of delivery, I had enough time to reconsider my decision, but I couldn't get my money back because it was already like in the process. I felt that the $400 price was a bit too high, and I felt like I probably should have at least checked with Mochi first. I should have checked the pricing with Mochi before deciding to go with Orderly. So because I didn't have a membership fee with Orderly, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get that vial. I'm gonna use it, but let me go see what Mochi talking about. So in the time it's taken for my vial from Orderly and Red Rock to get to me, I decided to sign up for Mochi, y'all. I was all over the place. Like Fridays was done. I honestly think I was still on my vial from Fridays from Red Rock. Like I was still injecting that weekly, and I had already ordered a vial from Orderly, didn't get it yet. Was like, nah, I don't think I want to pay $400. Signed up for Mochi. Now, Mochi was a bit more affordable, but the process was more in depth. I will say that Mochi has a more clean process. It may be a little lengthy, more lengthy than Fridays. Fridays would have the shortest process. I would say Orderly probably has the longest process, and Orderly's in the middle, even though they do make, Mochi's in the middle, even though they make you meet with a provider. Now, I said that to say, just know that in between me ordering my first vial from Orderly, I decided to go with Mochi because Mochi was kind of being a bit more, not invasive. They were being a bit more thorough. I think I got irritated with Mochi. I'm not gonna lie. I think I got irritated with Mochi, but I did go ahead and order a vial from them, and I'll talk about that in a second. But back to Orderly real quick. I went from Orderly to Mochi. They got on my nerves a little bit. They ain't really do anything wrong. They just got on my nerves a little bit. And it was looking like we were going to lose access to compound Tirzepatide fairly soon. And I knew that Orderly would at least let me order a multi-month supply. So I decided to go back to Orderly with 2 orders already in progress. This was dumb, but I did it. With 2 orders already in progress, I decided to go back to Orderly and try to just go ahead and order a 5-month supply. Now, I didn't know whether or not this compound from Orderly was gonna be good. Like, because the first one was coming from Red Rock. I had already not had the greatest experience with Red Rock, but I wasn't sure if it was because of the glycine that was mixed with it or whatever. So I wanted to give Red Rock another chance. But with the 5-month supply, this longer bud date supply was going to be coming from a completely different pharmacy that I had not worked with before. So I didn't even know if the product was going to be good, but I wanted to have the 5-month supply on hand because it looked like the FDA was about to pull the plug. So I went ahead and ordered the 5-month supply. Now, while I'm waiting for that order to go through, I get my first vial from Red Rock, from Orderly, and I also get the vial from Mochi that I ordered kind of in between. There's a bit of an overlap here in which order I use the vials because of their bud dates. Like when I got the vial from Mochi, it came with a shorter bud date. So I had to use that before the vial I already had on hand from Red Rock. And if I didn't mention this before, Mochi's pharmacy is Akita. I don't know if they own Akita or are partners with Akita. I don't know what it is, but Mochi's pharmacy is Akita pharmacy. Just to finish up with Orderly, they messed up my 5-month supply order. They messed up my order and they only sent me 1 vial from Red Rock. They didn't send me a 5-month vial from the other pharmacy. I forget the name. They sent me another 1-month vial from Red Rock. I was irritated. And you know what it was? It was because of some sort of glitch in their janky website. I reached out to customer service. I let them know what happened. They did not give me a hard time. Orderly has, I believe, I'm not sure if it's 24/7. I think Mochi has the 24/7 customer service. But Orderly has very responsive customer service. They text, you can call them, email as far as I know as well. and they didn't give me any problems about getting a refund, but there was nothing I could do about the vial that had already been sent to me. That $400 was gone. Like, it was gone. They were just gonna refund the rest and I could try again. Janky ass website. I was so annoyed because I needed my 5 vials to come with longer buds. I needed a longer period of time before I had to rush and use them. But because they messed up my order, I got another 90-day vial from Red Rock. So now I'm stuck with the first vial that hasn't even been opened yet. Mochi has a vial on the way, and I got another vial from Red Rock. I'm stuck with 3 vials of compound Tirzepatide with only a few weeks to use them. So I have more medication on hand than I actually need. Thanks, Orderly. Thanks for your janky website. That was great. So they refunded me my money. I decided to go ahead and try to order the remaining 4 vials that I never got. And I did get those. That was fantastic. No issue there. They sent me 4 vials from the other pharmacy, and they came with 12-month beyond use dates, which was fantastic, meaning I have 12 months to use these vials. It was also like that with Hollandale. That's why I miss Hollandale. Like, not only did they have a wonderful compound, but their buds were, like, they were long. They were like 12 months, I believe. Like, at least 6, but I think they were 12. So like, what? I don't have to use this until like next year? Crazy. So that was the extent of my experience with Orderly. I will be recapping in a shorter, more compact way toward the end of the pros and the cons of going with each telehealth company. So just bear with me. I know it's a lot of information. My experience with Mochi was when I did the intake, at first it was a normal intake. They asked the same normal questions. You got a history of high blood pressure, any history of cancer, any this, any that. And then they said I had to meet with a provider. And I was a little annoyed. Because the other telehealth companies didn't do that.